Hi there, welcome to the LNU show. This is your host Priya, and today's topic is a controversial one. You may relate with what I talk about, you may not, but you definitely will have an opinion on this topic. I will open up about the questions that I deal with almost on a daily basis as being a 36-year-old single woman. The unsaid yet very loud comments that come my way on a frequent basis. How my friends and my family feel about me being single at 36. And a little more. But before we get into that topic, real quick, if you haven't liked or subscribed to my channel, please do that so that you don't miss any update from me when I upload a new episode every weekend. It's a teeny tiny favor that I ask for, takes less than 2 seconds of your time, but does a huge favor for me. If and only if you want to go an extra step, I would love to get feedback from you. So please share that with me via comments, or you can also get into my DMs on Instagram or TikTok at The LNU Show. You can find them both in the show notes, so you don't have to go very far to find me. This podcast is where I share my experiences and leave you all with tips and tools to optimize your life on topics ranging from mindfulness, spirituality, building habits that help with navigating a busy career, and creating your version of your dream life. All right, that's all the housekeeping items. Now, let's get right in. So, to give you all a little juice on my personal life, I have been single for almost a year now, and I feel like I'm finally ready to put myself out there and find myself my partner. So, what that means is I am back on the dating apps, and I feel a little extra stressed just by saying that. But anyways, last time when I was on the apps was in, I believe, 2022. And, that year I matched with this Desi dude on, one of these dating apps. And we chatted for quite some time on the phone. I mean, we were not based in the same city, and I really liked his profile. Like, from his profile, it seemed like we had very similar values, and he's also an Indian dude born and brought up in the US and was doing good in his career, had similar family values, and everything looked great on paper. So we decided to, get to know each other more over the phone calls. And one call led to the other. And, we spent quite some time talking on the phone. I think we talked, we were connected for a few months, probably like 3 months, before we decided to meet in person. And because we didn't live in the same city, it took one of us to fly to the other person to meet. And after I met him in person, it was like I didn't know this person and I was meeting someone very new. There was something about his energy that did not match the person that I was having these whole conversations with on the phone. Something was off. There was a delta between what he really was and my vision or my idea of him. So without wasting my time or his time, I was like, I don't think this is gonna work. And, I don't think that we should pursue this any further, which he didn't feel like that. He definitely felt very differently. So he was not very happy with a no from me. And anyways, I thought that chapter was closed. We were not in touch with each other. I had deleted his number and chapter closed, right? Anyways, fast forward to last week. He saw my profile on the app and he sent me a long ass text message. I don't think that it should even be called a text message. It was like a big letter on WhatsApp. And a part of that text triggered me a little bit. I mean, not a little bit. It did trigger me a lot, which is why I'm here just talking about it. More than a podcast episode. It's a rant session for me. But let me read out a part of that text that he sent me, and you all will probably get it why it triggered me. But if not, I'll get into it in more detail. But he goes, I came across your profile on da 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 app earlier today and sent you a super like. Super like is a feature on that app. I thought that I should also send you a message on here. I hope I'm not bothering you by doing so. I really, really liked you and would love nothing more than for you to give me and give us another chance. Given who you are and what you look like, I thought that by now you would already be married or at least engaged to a very, very lucky guy. I'm so sorry that you are still single, followed by 3 crying emojis. And there is a lot more text. Like I can scroll for a whole minute, and there are like 3 voice notes, which I have not even listened to. It was very annoying. It took me a minute to digest that he really said that he felt sorry for me, that I was still single because I look a certain way, so I deserve to be in a relationship because of that, not because I don't know. I don't even know how to put all of this, like how to frame my thoughts. It's so triggering. It's wild. And I'm sure that his intentions were very clean and very pure, but this came across in a very wrong way to me. The last thing I would want for anyone or any single person, man or woman, would want is for anyone to feel sorry for them for being single because they are probably living their best life, you know? And if someone is single, it's probably because of one of these 2 reasons. Either because they choose to be that way, they choose to be single, they want to just live life by themselves, or they're struggling to find the right partner. They have like criteria for their ideal partner and they're struggling to find that person, and not necessarily because there's something wrong with them. You know what I mean? And I can't stress this enough, but deciding who you marry is one of the biggest and most important decisions that anyone would ever make in their entire life. And some people are lucky, some people are really lucky enough to find an easy way into that decision and meet their happily ever after school days, like a few of my friends, my own brother. And then there are other people who find their forever a little later in life. Maybe it takes a few failed experiments before they land there forever. And that's okay. You know, it's as simple as maybe there is a kid who starts his own business or her own business years old, and then there are other kids who prefer going through the whole education journey, getting a bachelor's degree and followed by a master's, followed by a corporate job, and then start something that they are really passionate about. It's as simple as that. It's not black or white. It's not right or wrong. It's all about what works for you. And it should not be looked down upon if someone is experimenting their way into finding their ideal partner. There's nothing wrong with that. Although that's not what our society says or has been saying or expects, unfortunately. Back in India, when I was growing up, if a woman was not married by her mid 20s, it was looked down upon. If a woman was really ambitious and wanted to do big things in her life, instead of prioritizing marriage or having kids, it was looked down upon. It still is, unfortunately, looked down upon. And it may be what some women want, and good for them if they want that in their life and they go after it. That's amazing. But if someone does not want to follow that traditional path, that's also okay. But because society has this unsaid pressure on women to, be with someone and not be 36 and single, it just messes with their self esteem. Now, I have done a lot of self work. I have gone to a lot of therapy sessions. I've done a lot of meditation and a lot of journaling. So I'm in a much better place. But I can imagine and I can relate if it messes with someone's self-esteem, and it also affects some people's life choices. I will admit that my first marriage was mostly a result of societal pressure and family pressure. I fell for all the pressure, all the questions that were coming my way. And, I would open Instagram or Facebook at that time, and one friend after the other would just get married and, post their engagement announcements. And I just fell for that pressure. I thought that, I was being left behind if I did not follow the trend. And of course, ended up making bad decisions, or the decision that was not right for me at that time. So I don't want to spend a lot of time about what should be the right way and what the society should say or do, because, just by myself, I don't have the power to change how people think, how people function, and it will take generations, if not more, especially from the society that I come from, for change to actually start showing. But what I do want to emphasize on is, even though I have done a thing or two in my life that I'm really proud of, I have lived most of my adult life independently. I have a decent career in tech. I'm helping my company build one of this big AI tool. But forget all of that. The most frequent question that I still get asked is if I'm seeing someone or not, or when am I getting married? And I am not questioning the intent of those questions. I'm not saying that my friends or my family, when they ask that question, they have bad intention, or they're trying to put me under a certain pressure, or they're trying to change my mind. It's all good intentions, but it is overwhelming. And I know that I am not the only single person who feels that way. So if you are listening to this and if you have a single friend, regardless of their age, give them grace, give them space, let them be. Um, for once, assume that they're single by choice and not by default. When I go back to the question of why am I single, it's because of two things. It's very simple. The first thing is that now I know what it is to be with the wrong partner. And number two is I hold very high standards when it comes to choosing a partner. And I'm not willing to compromise on that regard, because I have done that before. And clearly the outcome was not great. So I'm not willing to put myself in that situation. And I have learned how to practice patience when it comes to relationships, because this is not a sprint. This is a marathon. So those are the two reasons why I know that I'm single. And I think that's great. I think I would prefer to be single because of those two reasons and take my time into being in a relationship. I would not do it any other way. I would not rush myself into a relationship. I'm grateful for the lessons that I have learned and the path that I have chosen for myself. So sorry, but I'm not sorry. So if a guy who met me once feels sorry for me and sends me crying emojis because he thinks I look nice and I'm still single and that's a very bad thing, then I'm sorry, but you need some work to do on yourself, mister. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. That was my rant session. But yeah, it triggered me, and I thought it's important for me to put it out there to share how I feel about it. I'm sure there are more people who can relate with me, but to all my single ladies and my single friends out there, I hope that you all are embracing your journey and, enjoying every day that you have with just you. Because if you are someone like me who, one day wants to be with a partner but is single today, then I think every single day. So I hope that you all are doing something special to make memories with yourself, whatever makes you happy. I do that by traveling by myself or traveling with my girlfriends. And I use this time to solidify my friendship with my girls because these are the people who are my real cushion to fall back on. These are the people who are my real emotional support, my pillars when something goes wrong. So I take this time to strengthen those bonds, to, spend more time with them, to be more in touch with them, and, make more girlfriends. I cannot stress enough on how important it is to have your girlfriends around you and, to nurture those friendships and to always water that grass. And the third thing that I have really spent a lot of time is building my passion projects so that I can focus on the relationship when I have one. Right now I have a lot of time, so I can utilize it on building my side projects that I have always dreamt of but didn't have time to do. I'm just embracing this time, and I'm building on my side things, during this time. So I'm very happy and proud of myself to be doing all of those things that I'd been putting on the back burner. And I hope that you do too. That's all I had for today's episode. I hope that you all liked it. Reminder that if you haven't subscribed to my show on Apple or Spotify, please do so. It will definitely be the highlight of my weekend. Thank you in advance to you all lovely listeners. I hope that you all have an amazing weekend. I'll come back next week with another episode. Till then, take care. Bye.